Hi, boys and girls. It's Grandma Orange yet again. Time to place yourself on the floor, put your toys away, and listen to the story. We are in the book of 1 Samuel. Last week we started reading in Samuel. We're going to stay in that same book. We were talking about David. Remember? The teeny little king. He had all those brothers. Samuel came to anoint the king, a new king, and it was just little David, the littlest one of the boys, out watching the sheep. So today the story is a young hero and a horrible giant. Now, some of you are certainly going to know what the giant's name is. Let's find out for those of you that don't know the story. God's people had some scary enemies, but the Philistines were the scariest of them all, and now the Philistines had come to fight them. The Philistines had a secret weapon called, what's that giant's name? Goliath. Goliath was a terrifying soldier, and worst of all, he was a giant. A giant so strong and so tall and so scary that no one had ever been able to fight him and live to tell the tale. So there they were, the Philistines standing on the top of one hill over here, and God's people standing on the top of the other. Every day Goliath came out and shouted, "Send your best soldier to fight me. If he wins, we will be your slaves, but if I win, you will be our slaves." No one spoke. No one moved. "Chickens," Goliath bellowed. "Your God can't save you. I'll rip your heads off and have you on toast." Ooh. His beady, greedy eyes glowered at them hungrily from under his horrible helmet, as if any minute he really might just gobble them up. And he laughed his terrible laugh. Ha, 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 ha! It boomed, echoing horribly around and around the dry valley. Well, Goliath might just as well have been a green, slimy monster with 3 heads, because God's people froze with fear. Their eyes glazed over and they turned deathly pale. They knew if someone didn't do something quick, if someone didn't save them, but God would do something. He would send someone to save them. Now you remember, David was the youngest son of Jesse. Well, his brothers were soldiers in the army. One day when David brought his brother their lunches, he saw Goliath, and he saw how scared everyone was. "Don't be afraid," David said. "I'll fight him for you." "You're only a little shepherd boy," the king said. "Goliath is a great soldier. How will you fight him?" "God will help me," David said. So the king gave him his royal armor to wear, but it was too heavy and too big, and David couldn't even walk. I won't need this," David said. Instead, he went out to the river and he picked up 5 smooth stones from the stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he took his slingshot and he walked toward Goliath. Step, step, step. Could you have done that, boys and girls? Sometimes we have things that we're very afraid of, but are they as big as Goliath? Oops, here's David out in the stream picking up smooth stones. You know, that's what makes stones so smooth, is the water wears them smooth, doesn't it? They feel nice in your hands. I would have thought that David would have picked really rugged stones to try and kill a giant, but he picked smooth ones. Goliath walked toward David. Thud, thud, thud. "You?" Goliath peered down at the small boy. "I'm little," David shouted up to him, "but God is great." Goliath laughed an even terribler laugh than usual. Ha 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 ha, it went. With just one swing of his giant sword, Goliath could finish the boy off. But David kept going. It isn't how strong you are, or how many swords and spears you have that will save you. It is God who saves you. This is God's battle, and God always wins his battles. So David put one of those stones in his sling, and he swung it around, and he let it go, and that little stone flew whiz like a bullet through the air, and it struck Goliath thud right between his eyes. Goliath stopped laughing. He stumbled and he staggered and crash fell dead. When the Philistines saw that Goliath, their giant soldier, was dead, what do you think they did? Well, they ran away. And when God's people saw them running away, what do you think they did? They cheered. God had saved his people. David was a hero. Many years later, God would send his people another young hero to fight for them and to save them. But this hero would fight the greatest battle the world has ever known. I love the story of David and Goliath. I love the story of being the smallest and yet being the bravest and conquering something that was very evil and very large right there in front of the whole armies. Be brave this week, boys and girls. Be kind, be brave, and ask God, what should I be doing today? How can I be obedient to you today? How can I be kind to someone today? See you next week. We'll see what the story is going to be about. Love you. Bye-bye.
Hey, are you bold? Are you afraid? Or are you courageous? I looked bold up in the dictionary, and it says to be confident. And that's another big word that means you believe everything is going to be okay. God's going to make it okay. Courageous. You have courage if you're bold. You're confident that God's going to take care of things and make things work out okay. And he's called us to be bold. What if you were like David? Little guy, and you decided, I'm going to go out and fight this giant Goliath. And all you've got is your slingshot, a couple smooth stones, but you are confident that God's got your back. You're not afraid. You know what he's called you to do, right? That's what it means to be bold. And I would encourage you to be bold. Don't be afraid of what God has you to do. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. Oh, I am not afraid, I am not dismayed, 'cause I'm walking in faith and victory. Come on and walk in faith and victory, for the Lord your God is with you. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. I am not afraid, I am not dismayed, 'cause I'm walking in faith